All right, I am going to try to condense the information for optimizing your nutrition as much as possible. It's really hard to do this within 3 minutes, but I am going to do my best. So when you talk about optimizing nutrition, you have to consider three main factors: the quality of food you're putting in your mouth, the timing in which you're eating it, and then the balance in which you're eating it. So let's talk about quality first. High quality nutrient dense foods is always grown in nutrient dense soils. So in order to grow a healthy plant without the fungicides, pesticides, herbicides, and glyphosate and all the garbage that's put on commercial soils, that plant has to be very strong to resist disease, bacteria, to resist bugs, to resist all of that. And so a good organic farmer will put all 70 minerals back into the soil and try to balance them out as much as possible. When my husband and I had an organic farm, we got our soil tested, and then if it was low in a certain mineral, they would say you need to put this in it, you need to fortify it with this, and they were always natural compounds. Sometimes we grew certain grasses that would add more nitrogen. So depending on what that farmer's goal is, if he wants to have nutrient dense foods, he won't just put in 3 minerals to make it look beautiful, but he'll put in as many minerals and balance that soil out as much as possible so that plant will be as resilient to disease and pestilence as possible. So those compounds that the plant makes with all that good stuff come into our bodies. So we're getting more nutrition, more minerals, and we're benefiting from that. So it's not just what's not in the food, it's what's in the food. So nutrient dense is also properly prepared. That means it's slow cooked, it's fermented, it's sprouted, and it's dehydrated. You know, there's methods of preparing food, methods of growing food, and those things matter when it comes to quality. So let's talk about the timing. We've talked about timed eating windows. Just if you can remember one thing, try to eat within a 12-hour window. You don't want your insulin spiking all day. High insulin means high inflammation, means fat. High insulin, fat gain. High insulin, fat gain. So you could be eating low-carb foods all day, but eating too much of it, your insulin will still go up too often to keep your blood sugar stable and to keep your weight down. So eat within a 12-hour window or less. That's ideal. The balance of your foods, I'm going to talk about what I consider to be the most ideal balance, and that would be always filling half of your plate with vegetables. Always. Just make it a habit. Either greens, try to focus on cruciferous vegetables, but make sure half of that plate has the low starch vegetables. A quarter of your plate should have high quality protein, and a quarter of your plate can have carbs if you so choose that are starchier, like yams. But try to keep them in that order and try to eat them in that order for optimal insulin control. So it's vegetables, then protein and fats, and then your starches last. If you can follow that order, you will not only be able to maintain your weight a lot easier, but you'll actually be training your body to use all of those nutrients without having to store excess because of the wrong order. When you eat it in the wrong order, your body will be quick to store. If you eat it in the best order, which I call the right order, your body will not store and you will not be inflamed.